Hello, Facebook Live. It's Terry Jo. Ooh, sorry. I gotta move my little screen up here. I'm here to talk about control. I feel like I'm being a bit controlled, trying to talk quietly, which is a little annoying. And I'm also trying to not have my screen cut off. I don't really want to show all the people up there in the pictures, but let me just control this a little bit more. Maybe if I raise that up, that would be better. So let me just fix this. Hold on. Hey, while we're getting started, I want to show you something. I'm thinking about doing story time, like once a week, where I'll read a story, like a bedtime story. I want to show you some of the great stories I have. Legendary ladies. Superheroes are everywhere. Look who that book is by. Buddha at bedtime and fairies at bedtime. I have a lot of great books. Oh my gosh, you don't even know how many kids' books I have. So, oh, by the way, I just got those so I could raise the screen. That's so funny. Okay, so I'm talking about the subject of control, and I'm aware that I want to start this over because I feel like I didn't start it out good, but I'm going to resist doing that. I feel like that was just like a waste of 2 minutes. Sorry. But it wasn't tall enough and I wanted it to be taller. And also my roommate's home, so I'm just trying not to talk too loud, which I'm having to control my voice. So that's very kind of not fun. If you're wondering about my sparkles in my hair, I just got sparkles. See them? They look really cool. Okay, so the topic is control, and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. And it's not one of my favorite subjects because I would say probably my deepest, darkest shadow is control. And it is every one of my friends, I would say, has issues with control. According to spiritual teachings that I'm in, particularly University of Santa Monica, Ron and Mary will often say the master addiction is control. And I would definitely have to agree with that. That so many of us are trying to maintain, hold it together, have it dominion over, control over our lives and people around us. And influencing people, having control in our job. It's kind of a dirty word, and there's a fine line between having dominion over, like meaning being responsible with and accountable for your actions, your energy, your thoughts, your emotions, and wanting to control the outcome, wanting to control others, wanting to control experiences. So, I'm aware that I want to, like I said, start this Facebook Live over again because I don't like the way it started out. But I'm just going to keep rolling. I'm also aware that I feel like I don't know what I'm going to say, and I don't like that feeling. I think as a school teacher, I was aware of the control feature. We like to run a tight ship. I like to run a tight ship. I like to, have order in the classroom. I like to have structure. So it's not always a dirty word. There are some really wonderful things about control. And there are things that get in the way of, hi, Johnny, of being more fluid and more go with the flow. So I wanted to go back to realizing like all of the friends that I have, I would say, not that I'm going to try to put them on blast or, throw them under the bus, but I would say all the women I know have control issues. And And it's interesting because at least the ones I gravitate toward, I have an interesting relationship with people that are much more free spirited. Like there's a part of me that always wished I was free spirited and kind of hippie-ish, and I mean, even like sometimes the way I dress is that way. But I'm not a free flowing hippie. Like I wish I was more like, yeah, whatever, let's just see what happens. But that is not my personality. Um, I like to be on top of things, know what's happening, know the plan, figure the plan out, organize the plan, make the plan, um, make sure everyone's doing everything according to the plan. And it's definitely been a source of some anxiety in my life. I think so. Here's the deal. Like, I feel there's a spectrum with control and free spiritedness. And I'm just going to tell you this because it's coming forward to share. I remember once I went to a psychic in Puerto Vallarta. It was about a year or two before I quit teaching. And she said to me, "Oh, you're a really free spirit." And I just sat there like rolling my eyes thinking this lady's a terrible psychic because I'm like the most not free spirit that you could imagine. And I said that to her. I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I am super controlling. I am not free spirited." And she's like, "No, no, no. Like, underneath, you're really a free spirit. But in this lifetime, you had to really know you were going to turn out okay. So you started out very tightly wound. You had some trauma when you were young. She didn't know, but I did. When she knew, like intuitively. And that set up a pattern in you to take charge and be super responsible. But as you get older, you're going to lighten up and be more free spirited." And I would definitely say in some ways that's actually true. But I also still feel very controlling about certain things, like not relaxed. I'm feeling very tense. Like I said, right now, I'm aware of my my wrinkles around my lips, which are to me, such a factor of control. Like, like wanting, there's something that with our teeth, there's so much stuff like around the jaw and around the mouth of like not being relaxed, not trusting. The breath. There's so many things I can tell you about this topic that would maybe make you feel more okay with your over controlling nature if you have it too. But what I was going to say is I'm so aware of how many women in my life that have the control feature pretty strongly. And so there's this side of like the hippy dippy, airy fairy, go with the flow, kind of a freedom. There's like an essence of freedom to these people. And there's a part of me that really longs to be like that and is even envious. But I'm also aware, I came across this quote by Gabrielle Roth, who was the Five Rhythms dance woman. She still is, I think. I think she's still alive. But this quote just struck me so deeply. It basically says it takes tremendous discipline to be a free spirit. So I think that's what I want to, hi, Brittany. Hi, Renee. I think that's what I want to focus on. It takes tremendous discipline to be a free spirit because it takes the shame out of control. And what I want to say is like when we don't feel relaxed in life, when we don't feel like we can rest and we can breathe, easy. Yes, right, Johnny. There are a lot of people that have control issues. Then we are going to want to take the reins more and control more. But here's the thing: like the free-spirited people, and this is the thing that psychic told me that I met with in Puerto Vallarta. She said, free spirits run into a problem in this lifetime because there does come a time when you have to step up and take responsibility and accountability. And what happens is some people come into this life free-spirited and la-di-da kind of through their teens and 20s and 30s, and they wake up at the age of 40 and they're like, shit, I didn't get my life together. Like, I don't have a plan. I didn't have any, kind of, I didn't get established in a way. Like, they have that a rude awakening of like being too free-spirited, not grounded enough in earth school reality. And I've experienced that. I've experienced some free spirits that were incredibly promiscuous, incredibly curious in drugs and alcohol, leaning in that kind of direction, and ended up not in a good space. So it's a fine line, this thing with control versus go with the flow, relax, trust life, trust the process. I feel like most of us don't have the luxury to just wait and see what happens in life every day. And that's interesting, because I can think of some young people that might disagree with that. Like, well, yes, we can. We don't have to get a job we don't like, or be in a relationship we don't like, or hang out and do things we don't want to do. But I have found, for me, that too much freedom has been, it introduces too many options, and some of them can lean toward unhealthy, I'll just say. And so I don't know if any of this is making sense. I don't really even know what else I want to say about this topic. Just that I feel like I'm being guided to definitely relax more, trust more, not have to figure it out, not work so hard, not try so hard. And then at the same time, when people tell me let go of control, I'm like, I don't even know how to do it, because I've been almost hardwired to take charge and make things happen and work hard. And I know there's a whole school of thought that says you don't have to work hard, and it can be easy, and there could be grace, and there could be all kinds of love and support that's there for you if you believe that's true. And I do believe that's true, but I feel like I think we're coming out of the control addiction. I think a lot of us are being asked to lay that down. We're coming out of the whole illusion that any power is external. So any comfort, any getting other people to comply with our wishes. Like, here's one of the big ones for me, how control shows up. When I offer something like a class, let's say, or a topic, like I can give you an example now with Facebook Live. So I noticed, according to this, there's 3 people on, and I don't know if people are actually watching or not, because I can't control who's watching this. But there's a part of me that wants there to be more people on here, or wants to make sure people are watching, or wants to make sure people are listening, or wants to make sure people are understanding what I'm saying, or wants to make sure people appreciate what I'm saying, and would love that kind of feedback. And so I'm aware that that is an element of control, like wanting other people to get what I do, wanting people to get value from it, wanting people to learn. And let's see what Johnny asked a question. What person in your life do you most admire, love, who has the balance between control and is easygoing, a man or woman? That's a really good question, Johnny. Let me just think about that. It's funny. It's a really great question, but as I think about it, I can instantly go to too much control, not enough control. Too much control, not enough control. Like, I could see that in like so many examples of people. I don't know if I would say I could see an example of someone who has a really good balance. And then the other thing that's really interesting is I know people that have a lot of control, or let's say they're very clear with boundaries and responsibility, and showing up in presence in certain parts of their life, and then other parts there's not a lot of dominion, we'll call it, right? So somebody could be super good at business and finances and keeping their money in order, and then their love life is a freaking disaster, right? And I do know this for situations, like, but I'll speak for me. I would say the area that I always try to control is my work, because it relates so much to money, and I feel like I've had so many money struggles in my life. So I'm always like, this week, just to be really transparent, like, I've been pretty busy with my organizing business. And this week I have one client one day. And that's super unusual for me. And I'm kind of panicked about it. And so I was having my trio process, because I talk to my higher self and my child self about life every day. And I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm going to be destitute, and I'm going to be poor, and I'm going to be homeless. Like, this is like the whole drama that happens around this. And then my higher self's just like, relax, it's going to be fine. And even if you don't have any clients this week, use this time to meditate, use this time to get closer to spirit, to relax more, to trust more. There are some projects that I need to complete, that, like some curriculum I want to design for a class I'm doing. And it's in spirit saying, like, you can use this time to your benefit, like, to relax. And part of me is like, just really tightly wound about this. Like, no, I can't relax. I've got to go out and find clients. And that's a really good example of like the control feature, that it's just not relaxed and trusting that spirit has my back. And here's another example. I work with this intuitive counselor, and I had a session with him last week. And I'll come back to your question, Johnny, because I really liked it. But it comes to me to share this. So I had this session with this counselor that I get a session with him maybe every couple months or 3 months. And he said to me, and he's very intuitive, and he said, and he works with spirit. He said, spirit's asking you to really relax and trust around your work. And I said, I'm trying, but I don't know how. And he said, look, let me just tell you this. If I lost my ability to do this counseling work, which is my source of income, if I lost all my clients tomorrow and I lost my gift, that, he has I think a really profound gift in the way he counsels. If I lost this and I had no stream of income, I have absolute faith and trust that I would be okay, that I would be taken care of. And I just got tears in my eyes, because I realized I do not have that level of faith. I talk about it. I believe other people can have it. It's like this weird thing that I'm not, like, part of me doesn't trust. And that part of me is the part that there's a fear there. And that fear part goes into wanting to control it. Like, I have to figure out a way to take out an ad. I have to figure out a way to network. I have to figure out who I can call. I have to do something, and it's not a good place. And that's what spirit said to me tonight in my trio, was use this week to be in meditation. So don't run out there and try to find clients. Don't run out there and spin your wheels trying to get marketing done in your organizing business. Instead, sit back, relax, breathe, and trust. And that session with my counselor friend, when he said that, like, he's like, I just trust that the same source that gave me the gift to be an intuitive counselor, if that gift was taken away, it would provide another means for me, another way of support, I would be taken care of. And I knew when he said that, I really believed him. And I was like, okay, spirit, that's my goal. Like, I need to be shown how I can really trust that I'll be taken care of. And by that, I don't mean that I'll be lazy and living off of, living off of wishes and prayers. But it's like, I have enough of the strength and the will and the work ethic built up in me that I can relax more. So let's get back to your question. The person in my life do I admire most who has the balance between control and easygoing? Gosh, I'm going to be looking for that, Johnny. I want to say Ron and Mary are spiritual teachers, but I think they have control stuff. So I can't really say that about them. I mean, because there's also something really attractive about control. It's like I said, somebody who takes dominion in their orbit of, but it's not taking control of the external. It's control of my eating habits, of my doing what I say I'm going to do, of my high crystal, of my working out, like if I'm going to work out, or of doing meditation. It's keeping my word. And on some levels, I do have a good amount of control, self-control. But there are other things, like lately I've been eating more than usual and I've been really craving sweets. That's always my weakness. And I don't feel like I have control of that area of my life. And so it's one of the interesting things about control I find is that we often try to control the external world when we're feeling out of control inside. And so I definitely have work to do in that area. Just, I was at a birthday party tonight and it was like they had cake and they had ice cream and they had pizza, and I just wanted to eat all of it. So I did. There was no restraint on any of it. And yesterday, same thing. I was at an event. I was actually at a celebration of life and they had a lot of finger food and I just kept eating it and I wasn't even hungry. And so I think that's an issue for a lot of us, is not having self-control around things that feel good, comfort foods, comfort habits. Could be smoking, drinking, sex, like all of that stuff, watching TV, these kind of things, buying things, that whole retail therapy. So that's an interesting factor in there, is when we're trying to control the external, people, situations, circumstances, relationships. Often there's a real example that if we really look deeper, there's a feeling of being out of control internally. And the other interesting thing, not ironic, but the interesting thing I want to share with you is that I'm a home organizer. And one of the reasons why I became a home organizer is because I really missed when I was a school teacher. Yes, of course, that's part of it. Crystal is the trying to fill a void with food. Yes. I mean, that's why it's comfort, right? It's comfort foods. But I was going to say, I loved setting up the classroom when I was a school teacher, because I found like the more order there was in the classroom, this is a positive element of control. So the more order there was in the classroom, the safer and more relaxed the children felt, and the more learning took place. So I was just a big fan of having the room set up in a way that was really pleasing and very practical. So all the supplies were in the right spots. The children knew where everything went. I taught them the routines of where everything went. And so some can say that was very controlling. I actually think teachers are very controlling. But it brings in a safety feature when there's that kind of control. And so it's like having a bedtime routine, having this is the way we get up in the morning routine. These are, we brush our teeth, and we say our prayers, if you say your prayers, or you say your gratitude, or you read your bedtime story. But those kind of things really are comforts for us, and building those rituals with kids and in families are a beautiful thing. Whereas if everything's chaotic and different every day and unpredictable, it really can put our nervous system on high alert. So that's why I say, I know control is like a dirty word to people, but there are some elements of it that are really helpful and beautiful. And that's what I was going to say is the funny thing is why all of my friends that I can think of have a certain level of probably a control feature. But that's because I don't like being around chaos personally. So it's not even a judgment. It doesn't feel like a judgment, although it probably is now that I think about it. But it's like, I don't have a lot of friends that are messy. Like there's a certain level of like, I feel better around them because there's an order. It doesn't necessarily mean their house is immaculate not at all. That's not what I mean. But there's a certain order to them that feels um, relaxing and soothing to me because they are on top of certain things, or they do. But again, not perfection, just there's a clarity about them. They're not flaky, for example. They're not airy fairy. There's a groundedness in them, like a solidness. So let's read what these two comments are on the side. Your conversation is profound. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you so much. And you know, Johnny's one of my biggest advocates of, he hears me say I'm slowing down, I'm relaxing, I'm trusting more. I'm not really doing it, Johnny. I just say I am because I know it's coming, but it's so tightly wound in me to stay on top of things because I'm so afraid of being out of control, of I think of just chaos. I'm afraid of that. It makes me panic. So then I feel like I have to, make sure I know what I'm doing and I'm, being responsible. Let's see what Kendra says. I'm jumping on the 20-minute mark because I don't reside on Facebook. Wish there was a way for you to email us the alert. I meant to text you, Kendra. I'm super aware of the God hole that hole that food and sweets fill and the sense of order I need. I mean, even my garage is orderly and my friends are like, that's crazy. My defense is that cleanliness and order is what ashrams are filled with. Well, just the word ashram just makes me relax, Kendra. Oh my gosh. It is my ADHD meds. I was unpacked from a 4-day trip in 18 minutes. Oh, okay, you want to know something super funny? Kendra, you'll appreciate this. Whenever I move, I literally will stay up like 24 hours because, I'll get maybe one night of sleep in a move, but everything has to have a home within the first like 24 to 48 hours. And I will go by the furniture, I will go by the hangers, I will go by the containers. Like, it is so important to me that there is order because I know how everything in my body relaxes when there's order. And that was my experience with kids, is when there's and I can walk into a house where there's children, and if there's disarray, empty trash and dishes and toys all over, just like I'm not talking about toys, the messed up toys in the kids' room. Like, they're gonna mess the whole thing up. But I also teach kids how to put things back because it doesn't feel good to live in that. And maybe there are some people that can live in that. I don't know. I just know for me, it doesn't feel good. And it's one of the reasons why I love doing home organizing, because I love helping people get order. So talk about controlling, right? That's like my livelihood, is to help people get control of their homes and their living space so they feel better. So I'm sure I have much more I could say about the shadow side, but the main thing I want to tell you about control to free spirit and almost everything in life, personality trait, habit, all of it is a spectrum. And when you're more controlling in one area, I'll give you another example, really revealing here. I'm not in relationship with a man or a woman because I don't think I feel like in relationship I would be very controlling, and I wouldn't respect a partner that I could control. Yet, because I have fear of growing in a wrong direction, is probably the best way I could describe it. I have a fear of becoming stagnant and not growing, and becoming like a pond that kind of coagulates and gathers like the bacteria. I don't know why I have that fear, but I've had it all my life. So it's like a rolling stone gathers no moss kind of thing, right? So I have that. And I have this fear because I've watched relationships where couples get together and then they both have dysfunctions, and they agree like, I have this dysfunction, you have this dysfunction. Let's not talk about it, but you let me drink my wine and you could watch your porn. That's actually the way I feel a lot of relationships are. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that, but there's this part of me that just doesn't want to settle. And I also feel there are control issues there, that I would be controlling, and then I don't want a man that I can control. So it's just a weird, messy thing. So the way I've resolved it is I just don't have relationships. That's not really probably the best, but I'm also okay with that. I actually really like hanging out with myself, controlling self and all. Um, and let's see what else Kendra said. People can't stand moving. And I hear adults talk about having too much control or order as kids growing up or having such chaos they crave structure. So that's the thing, Kendra. Like it's such a, oh my gosh, it's such a thing. Like there were kids that grew up in chaos that then become really controlling parents, or there are kids that grew up with really controlling parents and they become super loosey-goosey parents. So, who's to say how we're supposed to do it all, right? I mean, we're all in earth school learning, so we're just going to, do it in one direction and go that too far in the pendulum and then be like, oh shit, that was way too controlling. Let me like learn how to be a little like softer and easier and more gentle, right? And so I feel I'm quite mesmerized by my sparkles, by the way. I'm feeling that I really want to learn how to let go of control. And I have no idea how to. So that's my honest story. I feel like there's so much more I can tell you about this topic, but I think I'm on my 31 minutes. Wow, that's too long. Any other comments or questions? Because I do like that. That's very fun to interact. So happy to see you here. I hope that helped you, some of you, one of you, any of you, relax about being controlling. Because I don't want to make control a dirty word or bad. I just want us to be aware that it is a feature and it is, as Ron and Mary say, the master addiction. If there were anything to work on in this life, it would be to learn to trust and relax more. And then there are some that trust and relax so much that they don't exercise taking dominion of their finances, their health, their choices, their response to other people. So that's what I mean about it takes my favorite quote, which Kendra, I don't know if you heard this, but my favorite quote of all time, really probably of all time. There's like I have like top 10 quotes that I love, but this one is, it takes tremendous discipline to be a free spirit. And that is by Gabrielle Roth, the 5 Rhythms lady. And I do think of that tremendous discipline as a control feature. So maybe a softer or prettier word is taking dominion in your consciousness, dominion of your choices. But it's still a form of control, like controlling how we think, what we say, where we spend our time, whether we gossip or not, whether we are filling the void or sitting in pain instead of running to something to cover it up. There's a lot of things to this. So hopefully that helped you. Maybe you could do control part 2 and invite questions ahead of time. Oh, that is excellent, Kendra. I will do that, and maybe I'll do that even tomorrow. I'm not sure. Let me think about that. Also, if you missed the beginning of this, I did say that I want to start a story time. I don't know what night I'm going to do it, but I'm going to pick a night because I have lots of stories. And this will be from one of the books that I have, Fairies at Bedtime. Super cute. A different topic, obviously, than what I'm talking about right now. But I just love the idea of reading stories to our inner children. Won't that be fun? Okay. Be the blessing that you are and know that you are loved by me and by your higher self, by your inner child, and by really everyone, whether they know it or not. We all love each other deep down, whether we will admit that or not. Okay, relax and have fun. And love your control freak. Bye.